Just make sure you guys are being careful. I said, just make sure you're being careful.
I found it in a bucket or something, like a red bucket behind the chair.
Yeah, it's all the Halloween stuff. That's fine. Yeah. Hey. Hello, my friend. Kelly Dunlap here, mindset and metabolism coach. Wanted to jump on and chat with you and share a little bit about something that's been going on my end. And I thought that perhaps if I share this, that it might help you as well. So have you ever heard the saying, what you resist persists, right? So the past, I don't know, a couple of months or so, I had really shifted my focus on my education. It started when I had gone to Georgia. What's the matter? I got Snow White over here. Give me the scrunchy nose. That means she's upset. Anyway, so of course, you know, when you go live, it's kind of like you get on the telephone and all of a sudden, Mom, I need you. Okay, say hi to my friends. Okay. Ooh, there's the scrunchy nose. Okay. Is that not humorous? Okay. Anyway, let's get back to what I was going to tell you guys. So, I had really shifted focusing on my education because it was really, really, really important to me that I had taken that course in Georgia. It was very extensive with regard to the time that you had to put in with your self-education. And then when you went to Georgia, your days were just consumed. You think in your mind, oh, I'm going to have this extra time, and oh, I'm going to have time to go to the gym, but you don't, and you're just fully exhausted. So not that that's any excuse, it's just basically what kind of fed into my ordeal. So then I started to realize that in my entire life, maybe once or twice in my life, have I ever felt the I don't feel like working out feeling. I've always been extremely self-motivated, extremely like, yes, I can't wait to get to the gym, you know, kind of a person. And I just started to notice that after that whole pattern began, that whole kind of habit began, that I was feeling just rather unmotivated. And then on top of that, my schedule with Kirby's schedule started to conflict, and it was just all this, you know, crazy stuff. But, you know, I understand that when you aren't really motivated to do something, you just start to resist it even more, right? So then on top of that came some issues with my knees. And if you have knee issues, you know the feeling that I'm talking about. You tend to like, and when I would start to step down steps, I would feel this feeling, right? And so that started to, you know, kind of like pile on top of the feeling of me, you know, kind of, I just don't feel like it. I'm just tired. I'm just this, I'm that. So knee pain. Then, you know, you get to the point where you're like, well, this exercising doesn't feel good because of my knees. Do you see what I'm getting at? So my point to you is this. You are going to find yourself in those kinds of situations just like I did recently. And it was very, very confusing for me. It was really humbling for me. And it was really like, oh my God, for me. But what I want to share with you is that I just kept trying. I just kept going. And I thought, even though I really don't feel like going, or I don't want to be here, or whatever the mindset was, it was the state of mind that I was allowing. Do you see? So I was allowing a state of mind to control my outcome with regard to that. So I would think of the pain in my knees. Once again, that's a state-driven decision. Okay, so I would think of, oh my gosh, pain, I don't want to go, I'm assuming it's going to do this and it's going to do that. So I found myself in this whole big
where's Colin?
kind of like a
Mom, where's Colin?
vicious, he's downstairs, this whole vicious circle. So what happens when you're somebody that's used to working out and you're not working out? Your mind isn't in the same state of mind. Now, one of the reasons why I've always enjoyed working out is, I mean, I've always been honest about my borderline of addiction, right? So I've always liked my dopamine raise, you know what I'm saying? And so when you don't have those feel goods coming in, when you don't have that movement coming in, your channel isn't clear, your mind isn't as open to things. Now, for me, one of the other reasons why I love to exercise is because that's when I get my best and most creative ideas. So I was starting to find myself in this shift. Now, this is just a matter of a couple of months. So imagine if I allowed myself to continue to accept this state, if I continued to accept this. So I knew that I needed to make a change. And I knew that I had to figure it out. So you know how the universe has your back. You know that, right? So as you know, I have Colin with a trainer at Lifetime. I hired Trevor to do my AMA, which is my cardiovascular VO2 max test. And he had given me this cardio test. But that wasn't going very well for me either, because I just said I wasn't motivated to do it, right? So then I thought, okay, well, the classes, they're great there, but then it was always stressful getting there. So do you see, there was always something. There was always something that I was allowing to kind of get in the way, right? And then it was stressful, and it's like, oh, Ayana didn't sleep very good, so I was living I was living in effect, okay? Living in the like, well, she slept in, so I can't make it, you know? So I was allowing all of these things that I preach to people, you know, and I started to notice, like, Kelly, what are you doing? What are you resisting? Why are you resisting this, you know? Then I have my macro coach, James, you know, who helps me. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm not doing, you know, and he's just like, well, we all kind of slip back. And what I'm telling you is this, is that we all slip back, right? We all have those moments, but we have to catch it. And this is why it's so good to surround yourself by coaches and different people that are going to be honest with you. So like I even said to my business coach, you know, I'm relaunching my Metabolism Reboot Academy. And I said, I'm just feeling, I don't know what I'm feeling. And she said, well, you know what? Don't do that, which is what I said I was going to do. She says, don't do that, because all you're looking for is that dopamine hit. And she was right. She said, you're just looking for the dopamine hit, feel through it. So I felt through it. And so you have these moments and you're like, okay. So I look at these moments now as like, you're getting ready to up level your shit, and it's a little uncomfortable, and therefore it can be scary, right? We resist change sometimes. We resist the things that we need most, okay? So let me get back to the Lifetime thing. Universe having your back. So then you get this free week of Metcon, which you've heard me talk about. What is Metcon? It's basically metabolic conditioning. That's what Metcon stands for at Lifetime. And there's this class. I thought, okay, I'll go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because you go 3 days a week. I'll go with Bob's class. Then Kirby's schedule changed. He could finally get me in, you know, between our schedules and stuff on Wednesdays and Fridays at 4 o'clock. I'm like, oh my God. I was just getting ready to line this up with Bob. And I'm not telling you that you have to work out every day. That's not what I'm trying to tell you to do. I'm just telling you who I am and what I thrive on and what makes me function and makes me feel like I am contributing to society as a human being, and that I am, you know, being my best self. This has nothing to do with aesthetics. This is everything to do with how do I feel good and how do I operate well and my best, right? So anyway, universe having my back. Then they open up a Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday Metcon. Wouldn't you believe that it was exactly what I needed? Because this group is new. I've been the only person, and thank the Lord to this trainer, Sherry, which Sherry, hi, if you end up watching this, she has been so kind and has been seeing me as a one-on-one, even though I'm just paying for group training. And she has been helping me with my knees and my squatting position. Now, I'm a former personal trainer. Very humbling for me to be in that position where you feel like, oh, I know how to do this. But then you realize my body's been through havoc. I'm 46, almost 47. I've had 3 kids. I just had one 18 months ago. And it's hard sometimes to say, this is where I'm actually at, even though I think I'm over here, but I'm really over here. And sometimes taking that step back is really humbling. And this is when you have to get honest with yourself and really own your shit. Right? So I'm not saying that my knees are the side effect from having a baby. My knees, this goes back years, right? But, okay, hold on. It goes back years. But sometimes hold on. I know, just a minute. Hold on, relax. Here. Okay, one up. Sometimes we have to stop for just a second and say, what the heck is going on, right? And sometimes we adapt and we go in these places that are complacent and that are not good for us because it's easier, right? And so I wanted to come live and share this with you because it's been a struggle, because sometimes as a coach, you feel like, gosh, am I being a fraud? How can I lead other women when I'm struggling myself? And then you start to question, but that's where those limiting beliefs of being perfect comes in. Like you have this, perfectionism. No, you know what I'm saying? And I think that the reason why I wanted to share this with you is so that you understood that I struggle too. I have setbacks at times as well. It's just how do we get back up from our setbacks? And so I'm very lucky and fortunate to have the coaches that I have that are saying to me, listen, this is what you need to do, and it's okay. Don't worry. Just like I talked to Sherry today, I had a session with her and I said, today was the first time I felt more like me. Like, thank you so much. Because if she wasn't taking the time with me, I would still be performing mediocre, or if I even went. But her taking the time and really giving of herself to me has like made me feel like myself. And so, I get a little emotional. Well, it's hard, because sometimes when you find yourself in these positions and you're like, what is going on? How do I get out of it? Right? And so just aligning yourself with the right people is so important, being a coach, but having coaches. I have a few of them. And it's not because of what I was just describing. It's because I always want to have that person there to push me and to say, listen, what are you doing? Hello, So anyway, if you find yourself resisting something, it's probably the biggest thing that you need to embrace. So like I said to Sherry today, I said, I'm so glad that I wasn't continuing to resist. And the only reason why I felt like resisting, and I messaged James too. I said, I had an aha moment today. I know why I was resisting it. It was because I wasn't good at it anymore. I wasn't good at it anymore. The simple shit, the simple doing squats, the simple doing lunges, I'd like with my knee, and it was painful. And so I resisted it and I didn't want to go, right? Because I wasn't good at it. I felt not confident. And so when you don't feel confident in something, you don't want to do it. You just want to be like, forget it. I'm good, right? And then until I had that aha moment today, and when I messaged Sherry, I said, that's it. I messaged her and said, thank you so much. I felt more like myself today. I felt like the workout was actually a workout and not a therapeutic session. And she said, you know what? She says, I could tell that too, Anyway, the universe had my back. The universe knew exactly to put me in alignment with her. The universe knew exactly to have Kirby's schedule put me on Wednesday and Friday so that not that Bob was bad, but I didn't need Bob. I needed Sherry. And so it put me in alignment right where I needed to be, right? So isn't it the coolest thing? So now I've been the only person, but that group will continue to grow. So now that we've been able to, now that she knows exactly what I know exactly, the changes or the modifications that I need, I will be able to go to those workouts with confidence, even when there are more people in the room with us. And I will be able to scale my workout according to me and not just bypassing these ailments that I have going on. Now, mind you, I'm still working toward my goal. Like I mean, this is if we go by the scale. Ayana will be 2 in September, but technically I am still carrying baby weight. I'm in my pre-pregnancy clothes, but I'm still carrying a little bit of extra weight. Does that have a little bit to do with it? Perhaps. I'm not really sure. I'm not going to focus on it. I don't really care. For me, it's about the way that I feel. And it's about the way that I want to live my life with a light. I don't want to feel heavy. I want to feel happy. And I want to be in a position in my mind that I want to embrace those things that I'm not good at. And it was just so interesting for me to have that moment and say, I figured it out. I understand now why I've been kind of an ass about it. It's because I wasn't doing good with it. And so I didn't want to do it. So anyway, I just wanted to share. So if you find yourself resisting, have that conversation with yourself and say, you know what? Figure it out, because that's what I had to do. I had to figure it out. And, who knows? Maybe a couple weeks ago when I wasn't feeling well, that very possibly had a lot to do with my mental state, meaning that I was in a place of, uncertainty. And sometimes when we are in a place of uncertainty, we can pull in this state. And when we pull in a state, the negative emotions and belief that were created in that state will come. Do you see what I'm saying? And so sometimes when you're in certain states, you will get physically ill, but it's a choice, right? And so, but then again, too, I've got to be honest, I think I might be perimenopausal. Because shortly after that, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm getting flashy. What is this? Oh! So anyway, who knows? There's a lot of change going on, whatever. But I'm always honest, in my journey and letting you know where I'm at with everything, because I feel that, hey, if this can help one person pull up their bootstraps and say, you know what, that's totally me right now. God, she's right. I need to kind of evaluate where I'm at, right? So I'm going to read a couple of these comments. So thank you all for tuning in, by the way. Jenny, thank you for sharing. You're so welcome. My alley cat, very, very, very humbling when a former trainer gets trained and you realize you're not where you thought you were. It is. Yeah. I just went through that recently too. See, alley cat. Alley cat and I used to work together as trainers. You're not a fraud. I think. Aw, thanks, Alice. She says, I think we love your honesty. You're real. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you, Jenny. Aw, someone told me last week, train your weaknesses. Yes, exactly. See? Yep, exactly. So that's exactly, that's right. That's exactly where I'm at. I'm focusing on my weaknesses right now. And right now it's at the gym. And it's also, I'm recreating my Metabolism Reboot Academy, because when you do certain things, you find gaps and you find where you can make it better. And so going through all of this process has really brought forth a lot of that. Like I said, there's that state of emotion that you can choose to align with, or you can choose to say, you know what, that's not who I am or where I want to be anymore. Because behavior and your emotions, again, it all has to do with your state of mind. What state are you choosing to live in? In other words, where's your emotional home? And so as much as I would like to say, oh, I've been in this great emotional home, that isn't necessarily the truth. You know, you think, because sometimes you adapt and you get used to feeling a certain way. And it could be a very short amount of time, you know, and so you have to surround yourself by those people that are going to call you out. So kind of like Dr. Don, you know, I go to see him, and I went to see him about a week and a half ago. We talked a couple days prior to that. And when I went in to see him and he did some tests on me, he said, "You are not fine. Like, who are you trying to kid?" And I said, you know what? I guess I didn't even realize it, because when you, like I said, when you kind of adapt, like, this is my normal right now, it becomes your normal. Like, you forget how good you once felt. And then, you know, after leaving him and I got on my right supplements and things like that, I started to feel a lot better. And the next day I was literally like, holy crap, you know? So anyway, stay on your game. Keep your weaknesses in the forefront and keep working at them. You know, if you find yourself always in that same hamster wheel, always in that same loop, or if you find that you are kind of like sidestepping something, which I was, right? Like, I was like, I just don't feel like going. Well, I couldn't understand why. It was just because I wasn't good at it anymore. So, you know, now I realize, okay, I just needed to make a couple tweaks, and I just needed to find that right person that is going to help me. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm, you know, nixing Kirby or anything like that. That was just a whole scheduling thing. But it's great now to have a couple of people coming at me with different styles and techniques and all that stuff. So, you know, I'm still in a phase of, I would say, recovery. And restorative, more so restorative for sure. So, all right, a couple of things. Let's see, what else can I share with you guys. I've got my challenge coming up. That's going to be the week of, I believe it's May 13th. So I'm putting it out there now. I'm already putting people on my list. It's going to be really exciting. Oh my God, I can't wait to share. That's going to be a 5-day live series that's going to be happening in my Mindset and Metabolism group, if you're not already in there. So that's going to be super, super informative. And I cannot wait to share that information. And then also, as I had mentioned, which most of you have seen, that I am bringing back my Metabolism Movement Academy, and it just like makes me so happy. And it's bigger, better, more amazing than ever, if I might say so myself. And I'll be keeping you guys posted on all of that as well. So thanks for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your kind words. And have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon.